Okay, our next chapter is called Busy Bees, and I'm sure you can predict that this is going to tell us a little bit about the bees. Again, we're going to read and just jot down a few facts, but you can see the author's building a little context here that we learned a little bit about how much bees produce food for us, and then that there's disappearing bees. So now we're just going to get the context of the bees. It's called busy bees. Honeybees live in colonies, busy places where each bee performs a specialized task. All the bees in a colony depend on one another and must work together to keep the hive humming. A lone honeybee isn't likely to survive for more than 24 hours outside the colony. Honeybees outside the hive have one job, finding flowers and collecting pollen from them for food as well as nectar to make honey. Honeybees have a single healthy hive can visit honeybees from a single healthy hive can visit more than 100,000 blossoms in a day. As they do, they perform one of the most critical processes in nature, pollination. When a bee brushes against the anthers on the inside of a flower, the bee's body picks up pollen grains from that flower. The pollen is transferred to the pistils of other flowers as the bee makes its rounds from blossom to blossom. The transfer of pollen from anthers to pistils is pollination, which leads to fertilization. Seeds are the product of fertilization. Without pollination, plants don't reproduce. They eventually die off without being replaced, which presents a serious problem for animals that rely on these plants as a food source. So again, we've learned a couple important facts about the importance of bees, and you can see where this is going, why then it would be a problem if these bees are starting to disappear because we rely on them for food. So a couple of facts that I could jot down. One, they live in colonies. They spend their days visiting flowers, collecting pollen. They transfer that pollen to fertilize flowers, which is absolutely needed for the survival of the flowers. And then without pollination, the plants will die. So I'm just going to jot a few of those things down. They're, again, just things to help me remember. We don't want to spend a lot of time writing. We just want to jot down some things that are really important. And this what's important is that the bees must go from flower to flower to flower to pollinate, which leads to fertilization, which leads to survival. So I could just write it like that too if I wanted.